Welcome to Land the House. I'm Seth. This is a ram pump. It's a water pump that does not need fuel or electricity to operate, only flowing, falling water. How it works, water comes down a drive pipe, closes this waste valve, which sends a pressure wave into the secondary valve, builds pressure in the tank, and sends water uphill. A question that I often get is it possible or should I use a poly pipe for the drive pipe instead of using PVC? Well, the short answer is you can use poly pipe as the drive pipe. However, because it is more flexible and not as thick and rigid as PVC pipe, it doesn't supply as much water up at the top. There are some advantages to using poly pipe. It twists and turns to follow the bed of a creek, where PVC a lot of times needs to be a bit straighter. So let's go ahead and run a test real quick to show the difference between using poly pipe and PVC pipe. I'm going to use a measuring cup to measure the water output at the top in 1 minute on both the poly and the PVC. This is my setup for this experiment. I have a bucket that has a water and a float valve that refills it. I can turn on my drive pipe here. Now we're going to be using PVC for the first test, and then I will swap over to using the poly pipe. So my drive pipe has approximately 6 foot of drop down here, or head pressure, and that will go to the pump. Now I have to push this waste valve several times in order to make sure I have enough water in the delivery pipe going uphill. So I'll just have to sit here and cycle this a few times. I now have the delivery pipe full of water, so whenever I press this valve, the pump is going to start. And it will continue to run like that as long as there is water feeding the system. All right, let's follow the delivery pipe up the hill, which is all the way at the top, and we will see how much water is coming out in 1 minute. Now, if I show you up close, you can see the drive pipe is bouncing just a little bit. You can see the grass here just barely going back and forth, and that's because the pipe is bouncing. Some of the kinetic energy is not going into the system to be pumping the water uphill, but it is being lost with that movement. There's a bit more movement right over here. So we'll notice a much bigger jump whenever we swap over to the poly pipe later on. This is the output of the ram pump with a PVC drive pipe. I'm going to use a measuring cup to measure the water that comes out in 1 minute. So here we go. There's 1 minute. The results with the PVC drive pipe are 900 milliliters in 1 minute. That's actually quite impressive. A lot of water out of the 1/2-inch pump. What I'm going to do next is swap out about 25 feet of PVC pipe and replace it with poly pipe, and we should see a good bit more bounce as the pressure wave is going back and forth, because the pipe won't be as rigid being poly pipe. And because there's loss in that bounce, we should see less water pumped to the top. I have the poly pipe now connected to the ram pump. Let's go ahead and get this going here. Now I want to hold this valve open for a moment to make sure all of the air bubbles are out. Yeah, seems pretty good. All right. Let's take a look at this bounce now. As you can see, there is a significant increase in the amount of bounce going up this drive pipe. And it's not just there. It's the entire way up has bounce. So that right there is reducing the amount of water that's going uphill because it is being lost here in the bounce. Now keep in mind, the bounce you're seeing here on the poly pipe will get worse the longer you have your drive pipe and the bigger the pump gets. So the water difference we'll see at the top may be small now, but if your drive pipe was, let's say, 100 feet long instead of just 25, then you would see an even greater decrease in the amount of water at the top. So let's head up there and see what we get. This is the test with the poly pipe for 1 minute of water gathering. After 1 minute, the results are in. We have 750 milliliters. So we are 150 milliliters shy from the PVC drive pipe. All right, and there we have it. The results are in. So the poly pipe had 150 milliliters less per minute than the PVC drive pipe. So as you can see, with just this simple 25 feet replacement, it's significant difference in the output. So if your drive pipe was 100 feet long and it was all poly pipe, you're looking at a lot less water than if you had used the PVC the whole way. Now, here's something you can do. If your creek has a lot of turns in it, you can use poly pipe for the upper section and then install a stand pipe, which is simply a pipe that sticks up to match the source. And the ram pump will use that stand pipe as the water supply. And you can have PVC from the stand pipe to the pump. So let's say you had 200 feet of poly pipe and then a stand pipe and then 50 feet of PVC. The pump will only use the PVC and it will pump nice and high, as we saw with the PVC here in this test. So it's just an option to bypass some of those curves and have the pump still use the PVC drive pipe. I hope that makes sense. If you want to have a ram pump for your very own, I have 4 different sizes. Links to those in the description down below. I'm Seth with Land A House, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.